Well, I mean, if you think that you're God and you go into financial markets, you're bound to come out broke. So the fact that I'm not broke shows that I don't believe that I'm God.
By now, many of you are aware what Forex trading is. Some of you have tried it. Some of you are making a living from it, and some of you use it as a side hustle. Today, we are going to touch base on the richest Forex trader in the world, known as George Soros. Before we talk about how he found the basket at the end of the rainbow, let's look at the man behind the money. Mr. George Soros was born in the capital city of Hungary, called Budapest, and of course he grew up in a wealthy family. Raised by his parents Elizabeth and Tivara, his father was a well-known Esperanto spokesman and a lawyer. Growing up, he survived the 1944 Nazi invasion, and in 1947, when World War II ended, he moved to England where he did his tertiary studies at a college named London School of Economics. One of the biggest lessons that Soros learned was that no ideology owns the truth, and society can flourish only when they operate freely and openly. That lesson alone is the one lesson that will change him to become the man he later was.
A democracy or open society only survives if it's tested. It's constantly in danger. It's constantly in danger of falling apart, and there must be some people who will fight to preserve it.
He then graduated in the year 1952. And 4 years later decided to move to America, land of dreams, home of opportunity. When he got there, he got a job at one of the biggest Wall Street firms called FM Mayer Holding as an European investment analyst. Later on, in 1973, he decided to start his own hedge fund and named it the Soros Fund, having a total number of $12 million of investment, which he was able to flip into a whopping $5.5 billion by 2013, making his fund one of the top 10 hedge funds in the world. From when he began his hedge fund till now, his hedge fund has raised over $40 billion, which was able to make him the 21st richest man in the world. Soros has always prided himself on making accurate and very distinctive business decisions. One of them being that in 1992, when the British government developed the pound sterling, he decided to sell billions of pounds that he had bought with borrowed money, and repaid the money he borrowed and made profit of $1 billion. At that point, they started calling him the man who broke the Bank of England. Him understanding that being successful also means that he had to come across certain failures. In 1994, he made a bad decision of buying the dollar against the Japanese yen, and instead the dollar dropped and dipped the whole year, causing him to lose hundreds of millions in one day.
So let's talk about the Hong Kong dollar, our second story here. It appears that some hedge funds are starting to bet against it. They're not the first ones to bet against it. George Soros did it. It didn't work out so well.
When there was a financial crisis in Asia in 1977, he was unfortunately called the culprit behind the whole orchestration, causing the Soros Fund to lose billions. And in 1999, he returned. But this time, his trading style became more consecutive. In December 2002, he was fined 2.2 million euros. Then in 2011, he made a decision of not handling money of investors, but will continue trading for his company and his family. Then in February 2017, Forex magazine listed him as the world's 29th richest man and the world's richest hedge fund manager, and number 19 in the list of the world's wealthiest American, with an estimated net worth of $2.2 billion. And that was after he had lost $1 billion. One of the good things he spent his money on was when he provided funds for students to study in the University of Cape Town in South Africa. It was estimated that from 2003, he has gave away a total of $4 billion, it being an average dividends of $400,000 million annually. In 2007, he donated $100 million for internet connectivity for regional areas in Russian universities. He also donated $50 million to try and eliminate extreme poverty in Africa. Majority of his donations were mostly directed to scientists and universities.
Well, it's a tremendous sense of responsibility, actually. And it's also a humbling experience because I am actually trying to do the right thing, and sometimes what I do has an unintended negative consequence.
Mr. Soros is a very good Forex trader and an excellent businessman. One time he was able to make over $1 billion in one day during the UK crisis in September of 1992. But he was not that lucky when it came to finding the perfect wife, because he got married for the third time at the age of 83. One of the outstanding business moves that a lot of people don't know is that he owns a percentage of a football team called Manchester United. And when we looked at his political involvement, found out that he spent over $23 million trying to prevent President Bush from becoming president. He even said on record that his #1 priority in life is to make sure that George W. Bush did not get his second term in office.
Are you supporting him or not?
I supported him last time, but I can't at this point. I can't
You cannot.
because of our foreign policy failure. But I may revise my view. I haven't decided how.
Do you
I'll
have?
vote.
You don't have a candidate then?
No, I don't have a candidate, and I don't intend to mix in domestic politics.
George also has very unique views on cannabis, as we found out that he donated $400,000 to help make cannabis legal. He states that cannabis should be legalized because it's not addictive as other drugs. One of the other crazy information we found out about him is that he is a convicted felon. He was accused of buying and selling shares in 1988 while knowing that the bank was a takeover target. Some of his biggest investments are him owning $32.8 of Netflix shares and $33 million in Amazon shares. And when all is said and done for him on this earth, he plans on donating over 60% of his wealth to charity.